Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Every week, we take a look at what's happening in the real estate market generally and the villages specifically. But a couple of points I'd like to alert you to. First, we produce this show every Monday. Make sure that you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, all of this information is drawn from the multiple listing service. It does not include any properties from the VLS, which is the village's own internal listing service. For that reason, if you are looking to buy a home, you really should employ two brokers. Without a VLS broker and an MLS broker, you will not be able to see all of the properties that are on the market. So, as I mentioned, I am a realtor with Florida Realty Investments. I specialize in finding buyers good deals, and I also specialize in helping sellers maximize their return in a reasonable period of time. If you're interested in the village's real estate or life in the villages generally, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. We're going to start doing something new this week. We're going to break the show into two pieces. The show on Monday, which is the one you're watching now, will be an overview of what's happening in the village's real estate market. Similar to the shows we've been doing for the last year and a half, we'll take a look at number of listings and any noteworthy data points that we find. And we will do a second show later in the week, every week from now on, which will focus on homes that we find interesting in the villages. I hope you join us to take a look at what we find. So now let's take a look at what's happening nationally and locally here in the villages. As always, we start off with the interest rate market, which is reflected on this chart, which shows you the 10-year government bond yield. This yield most closely tracks the mortgage rate. And looking at this chart, you can see each of the bars is a day. This goes back to the middle of 2016. And looking at the graph in April of 2020, you can see that the 10-year note reached a low of 0.398%. It's currently at 4.36%, which is about the highest level that it's been in the last 23 years. Obviously, mortgages are also at the highest levels that they've been at in the last quarter century. The problem seems to be that everybody assumes that a slowing economy is going to cause the Fed to reduce interest rates. But if you take a look at the actual data, you can see that the Fed has basically increased the total federal debt by about 1 trillion per month over the last 3 months, and total interest expense on the federal debt is now nearing $1 trillion a year. There seems to be no attention being paid to the money that's being spent. Interest rates look like they're heading higher. Along with them will be mortgage rates. And if mortgage rates go much higher, it's hard to believe that any real estate market won't be crushed, and even the villages will probably see negative effects. Now we'll take a look at what's happening in the villages itself. Starting with listings, as we always do, this week there are 298 listings currently, compared to 282 listings last week, and this compares to 195 listings for the same week a year ago. Listings range in price from $153,000 to just under $2.7 million. And looking at this graph, you can see that even though the number of listings has been declining for the last 6 months, it's starting to pick up again. Here we break down the listings by price segment and by week, and you can see that in the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, this week there are 187 properties for sale. This shows us the median listing price per square foot for all listings here in the villages. Keep in mind, median means that there are as many prices per square foot lower as there are higher. This week, the median price per square foot is $259.89, up very slightly from the $259.57 of last week, but down dramatically from the $270.36 of the same week last year. This is listing time, the median time on the market for all listings. It is currently 51 days, up from 48 days last week, and up from 41 days the same week a year ago. After falling for several weeks, it looks like the market might be slowing again. And this is our last look at listings. This is the number of listings that have been in the market for 100 days or longer. This week, 77 out of the 298 listings meet that criteria, which is 26% of all listings, up from 24% of all listings last week. Now we take a look at new listings and pending home sales over the last week. 37 new listings compared to 35 the week before, and 21 new listings the same week last year. Pending home sales down from 35 to 31 and compared to 24 pending home sales the same week last year. Looking at this graph, it certainly appears as if new listings are continuing to stay steady while the homes going pending seems to be decreasing. Another look at the new listings. This is broken down by week and price segment. In the most active price segment this week, the $300,000 to $500,000 range saw 25 new listings. Now we'll take a closer look at the homes that went pending. This is the median price per square foot that they went pending at. It's good to see a nice rebound here. We were at $234.96 a foot last week. We're back to $265.04 a foot this week, higher than the $260.53 that was in effect the same week last year. I don't know how much information can really be gleaned from this graph. 245, 265 seems to be the range we've been bouncing between for the last year now. Here we look at how long homes that went pending last week were on the market before going pending. 21 days the median time compared to 29 days the week before, and compared to 23 days the same week last year. We're back to the same levels that were in effect a year ago. Here we take another look at the homes that went pending to get some idea as to what the reduction from the original listing price was for those homes. This last week saw a reduction for the homes that went pending of 5.61% from the original listing price, improvement from the 5.91% that was in effect last week, and substantially better than the almost 8% median reduction for homes that went pending a year ago. This is our last look at the pending home sales. This looks at what percentage went pending within 7 days of being listed. Last week, almost half of the properties that went pending were on the market for 7 days or less, 14 out of 31, which is 45% of all homes that went pending, compared to 34% the week before. Now we'll take a look at the homes that sold and closed over the last 7 days. They numbered 34 compared to 30 a week ago and compared to 31 a year ago. The homes that sold ranged in price from $190,000 to just under $745,000. This is another look at the homes that sold and closed over the last week. This time we're looking at the median price per square foot that they sold at. We're up to $251 a square foot compared to $243 a foot a week ago, and identical to the $251 a foot that was in effect the same week last year. We can take a closer look at the properties that sold and closed last week, broken down by week and price segment. In the most active price segment last week, the $300,000 to $500,000 range saw 19 homes close. This looks at the homes that sold over the last week and how long they were on the market before being taken off the market. 48 days was the median time on the market for those homes compared to 45 days a week ago, almost twice as long as the 27 days that was in effect a year ago. This graph does seem to be showing a gradual upward trend. And our last look at the homes that sold over the last 7 days. This looks at how many of them were taken off the market within 7 days of being listed. 6 of the 34 sales were on the market for 7 days or less, which is 18% compared to 17% the week before. Here we take a look at all listings once again to see what percentage have reduced their asking price from the original listing price. This week, almost 55.6% of listings have reduced their asking price compared to 52% last week, and this compares to 55.9% for the same week last year. And this chart shows us what the median decrease is for all listings currently, a 4.41% reduction from the original listing price compared to 4.17% last week. Little change from the 4.26% median reduction that was in effect a year ago. So that concludes this week's look at the Village's real estate market. If you're looking to buy a home here and are trying to find a good deal, or you're trying to sell your home and are trying to maximize your return in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Be happy to help you, advise you, or answer any questions you have. Hope to hear from you. Take care.